took full advantage of the turnovers and put points on the board pretty quick with a 21-7 lead at halftime.
If after watching the film on them, I think we had like 6 games on them, but watch them from their second game on to their 8th game, they're a much improved team. I mean, they're fundamentally sound, they're gap sound defensively, and I think the injury to their tailback's going to hurt him a little bit, but he should be ready. They said he should be ready for the playoffs, but he only got to play a few snaps against us. But they're just an improved team, both offensively and defensively. But I love the way our players played that day. I really enjoyed watching them play.
Played hard, Coach. Big Red has a tradition of playing hard. I don't think anybody plays harder than Steubenville High School kids, but I was surprised. I don't know if I asked you this off camera or not, but were you surprised that Mooney threw the ball so much?
They've been doing that. They've been doing. I think the reason why they're doing it, they hadn't done it till, like I said, their tailback got a little bit banged up, and you try to get your best players in the game. And once he went out of the game, I think number 10 and number 22 were their 2 best players, so they probably tried to get them the ball.
Yeah, it seemed like they were going 4 wide. I mean, they were spreading you out a lot. They were going a lot of backfield. Now, in the second half, I was just watching the game. It looked like you guys controlled the second half. They didn't touch the ball very much. No. Time of possession was really on your side in the second half.
Once we got the 21-7 lead at halftime, we just wanted to run that clock and get our kids out of there healthy. And basically that's what we did the second half. We just wanted to, run the clock, and it doesn't matter if you win 21-7 or 55-7. There's no difference, or 14-7. We just wanted to do what was best for our players, and that was to get them out of the game as quick as we could and get our young kids in. And they got their young kids in too, so it worked out good for both teams.
Your receiver Hill has really, really stepped up and really taking charge of some games. I mean, he's getting a lot of yards after catch as well. He had an impressive showing on Saturday.
He did. He had a really good showing. But the thing I like best is the way our other receivers have improved. And sooner or later, teams are going to start doubling him or trying to, at least man and a half him and take him away. So, Phaeton has a good relationship with most of the receivers, and we got 2 or 3 receivers that'll really step up for us when the time comes.
I just thought offensively when they scored the first touchdown, not being at the game, watching it, it looks like you guys just took control. Your kids didn't panic. You got the ball, went right back down and scored on them. I think it was on a nice little shovel.
That was the second score. The first score we just drove. But, what happened was, they got the ball first, and they moved into our territory after after a face mask. But they were 3rd and 1, and we stopped them for both times, and we got to take the ball over. But we didn't do anything with it. We were 3 and out, and very seldom do we go 3 and out. And we were 3 and out by throwing it twice, so we didn't run any time off the clock either. But they got the ball on the 49-yard line. And so they were in 4-down territory right off the jump street. And when you give them the ball on the 49-yard line, any team, especially a good team, is going to take advantage of that, and they did.
That was a big defensive stand. Offensively, I think you lost your best offensive line, but boy, did the other kids pick it up, man. And they come off the ball well.
We filled in. We have 2 sophomores that filled in, and Ben Berge was one. And Chandler Hoffman was the other one that stepped in. But Berge started at left guard, and we moved Harper to left tackle. And we kept the right side the same and the center the same. But we'll probably move them around a little bit this week because of it depends on what you're doing offensively, where we want our players. But like I've told you guys before, a couple of guys have to know every position, and.
Not because he's my nephew, but I think that Joe Suckots could coach football at any level. I mean, I believe he's that good just watching him over the years.
Well, he didn't learn it from me. So.
Well, I'm just saying that people have told me that. He takes a lot, when you're in the stands, you hear, but the offensive line play at Steubenville Big Red has just been outstanding. I mean, it doesn't go. You lose guys, and you just pop guys right back in, and you just keep running the same sets, and people can't stop you, so you're doing something right.
Well, what we're going to have to do, and we've talked about this, people are going to start to put extra people in the box. So, I don't think you could put a play in and work on it for 3 days and run it on Friday night. So, we've been working on things for the last 2 or 3 weeks that we feel that, when the time comes, we're going to need them. And we're already doing some things to spread the box out and try to run the same offense. And so it's been pretty good so far. The team we're playing this week is really, really, really talented, and we're just gonna have to be fundamentally sound and not get too fancy, but keep that clock running and keep the clock running quick. So that's the game plan this week,
Coach. So what you're saying there is the fact that you have worked on plays the last 2 or 3 weeks, but not run them in the games.
Yeah, we just don't. That's just not something that we do. I think that kids have to have confidence, and the kids ask you too, Coach. We're practicing this play, but we're not doing it well. The time will come when we need it. Like we run that Liberty play to the tight end down the middle. It serves its purpose, but that's not something you want to start out with. It's when they start cheating that safety up to stop our power. That's when you want to do it. But you have to have a play. You have to have a play off of everything. And just like our stretch, we stretch to the left, stretch to the left, stretch to the left, and ran the shuffle pass back to the right because you get those linebackers falling over top. Then the backside linemen are responsible to keep him from getting on this side of the ball, and he got through and it wasn't even touched. But you have to have plays off your best plays.
Well, I'm sorry, Billy.
Go ahead, Coach.
Talking about offensive line play, I think JoJo has felt right into what Paul Filtz was doing prior to that. Paul Filtz was as good as anybody coaching the offensive line, but
just different technique now.
Right. And when you say technique, are you talking about that now is just basically zone blocking on everything?
And
getting away from the let's fire out and keep our feet moving?
I'm in the same generation coach-wise as Paul Fields. And when you double team then, you just, you double teamed and you drove the guy off the ball.
Right.
Well, now it's different. Now you got to, your post guy isn't the same type of post that was. He just posts with a flipper and looks at the backside linebacker. If that backside linebacker comes down, then he has to come off, but he has to flipper that so the tackle can get his head across the man. Where before it was just a double team or somebody. It's just different now. The steps are different. Heck, I can remember, when we get down in a stance, the coach would kick your hand out and you better not fall.
Right.
Now, if you see our stances, I don't even know why they put their hand down. I don't even know why they put their hand down on the ground because the stances are so much. They're just different. It's just it's a move your feet as fast as you can, not as hard as you can, but as fast as you can. And the steps are smaller. And if you can imagine a board, if I have a board outside my right foot, if I'm going to block to the right, I got to step over the board and come instead of just used to take an angle to where you're going. Now it's stepping over the board so you can keep your body square when you get into the defensive man.
When did that technique come about? When did that change happen?
As people started to spread out, you only had 5 guys to block 6, so there was an unblocked guy. So then you start putting the quarterback and read the unblocked guy. If the unblocked guy came down, the quarterback kept it. Well, it's zone blocking, area blocking, and it's not like very seldom do you see ISO anymore. But we run ISO because we have an extra back in the game. But very seldom, like you'd have a 1 technique and a 5 technique. The guard would block down on the 1, the tackle would block out on the 5, and your linebacker would ISO your fullback would ISO on the linebacker. Well, what if they didn't come out in that defense? What if they came out inside? Then that's when Michigan put in the bounce. Remember how you would run that ISO, but he would bounce outside. So you would draw that linebacker in with the angle, and once he came in, the tackle would hook him, and the back would break outside. That's the first time I ever saw, a zone blocking with ISO, and it's built from there.
Well, we always say this. I was fastest 10 weeks in football. You're in week 10 already. Health-wise, I know we know about the left tackle. How's everybody else health-wise going into the playoffs? I know it's 10 games. Everybody's going to have bumps and bruises.
I know, but right now, Blackburn we lost him even before Pad started to an injury, but hopefully he's ready for baseball. And then we lost Cam on a stupid freak play that it just man.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're healthy. We have a kid with a hip pointer, but he'll be ready to play this week. And those hip pointers they're painful. But after 10 games, I think that we're very lucky. After 9 games, we're very lucky, and hopefully that luck lasts for another week.
Amen to that.
Well, getting one more couple questions about Mooney. The contract's still with Mooney. You're going to play them for the next couple of years.
We have them the third game next year at home, and I think they stay at 3 for maybe 3 years.
It's a nice rivalry to have.
Oh, it is. It is.
I
I love playing them Youngstown teams. I mean, they come to play, and I don't care if they're 1-10 or 10-0. Man, they come to play and they make you earn it, and I really enjoy that. And I enjoy coaching against those guys, and they're just good. They're good guys, and just like the coaches at Cheney and coaches at they're good guys, and they're hard workers, and it's a privilege playing them.
How dangerous are they going to be a Division V team getting in that playoffs?
Mooney?
Yeah.
They're going to be good.
Yeah,
they're going to be they're a good division. I don't know what region or anything like that.
17.
They are in 17. Yeah. I don't even know who's in 17, but they're going to be a team that
Gonna be a tough
they're
out.
Good. They're good for Division V. They're good. For Division IV, they're good.
Yeah.
It's just when you think of Mooney, you think of Division III.
Yeah.
Most of the time we played them, we were 3, and at one time they were 7-1 against us. So we've cut it to 5-7. I think we've won 5 out of 12 now, but they put some whippings on us.
I never told you, but I got a chance to stand and talk to one of the 5 best running backs I've ever seen, and Buster Gannon. He was at the game, and he said he lived about 10 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah. Buster coached at East Liverpool, started his career at Liverpool, then he went up to Ryan, and then he followed the Liverpool coach up to Warren, and he was at Warren for probably 25 or 30 years, back and forth between Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve. He was their strength coach and their running back coach, and Buster's been a beautiful supporter of mine. He comes to most of our games, but he comes to a lot of the home games, but he was the best back in Ohio in '64.
27 touchdowns he had his senior year.
And rushed for a mile. And he rushed for a mile. And that's in 10 games. So, there was no playoffs in. But how I met Buster, I was a sophomore and he was a senior. We're getting to go on the game, and he was kind of slow on the draw, and he asked me to pull his jersey over. And that was the first game of the year. I pulled his jersey over, and he rushed for 212 yards. So he made me do that the rest of the year. So, God bless.
He played on the second best Central team ever.
Yeah. I don't know if he played on the second best, but he played on a good team. There's plenty of good teams that Catholic Central had, and that was one of them. But there were some really good teams.
All right, we'll take our first break here on the Coach Show.
I get what you're saying. My fault.
We'll take our first break here with head coach Reno Suckots, being sponsored by Fort Steuben Maintenance. We'll be right back to talk about this week's opponent, Rock Christian Academy, Coach.
Rock
Creek, got it.
Christian Academy.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll talk about the upcoming opponent.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer: men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question: so where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer: high school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks, Fort Steuben Maintenance, for sponsoring Big Red Head football coach Reno Suckoch on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
Hey, we're back here. We're going to talk to Coach Reno Suckoch about this week's opponent, Rock Creek Christian, out of Maryland. What part of Maryland are they out of, Coach?
Marlboro.
I know you told me a little bit.
Right outside of D.C.
You know this coach? You were telling us a little bit.
Yeah, he coached it. Remember when National Christian came here?
Yes.
They beat us in overtime, 55-54 or 56-55. I forget what it was. But he was the coach then, and he was at a public school in D.C. I've just known him for a long time, and we needed a game, and it was early May, and we didn't have a game. We couldn't get a game, and so I called him and asked him if he knew of anybody playing. He said, I just got this job last year at Rock Creek. He said, we'll come. I said, okay. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they recruited by a busload. So,
so what are you getting into Friday?
A bee's nest. Oh. But, bees get killed once in a while, so we'll just
athletes all over the field.
Yeah, they got athletes, and but our kids will make us proud. I know that.
And I looked at their schedule today. It looks like they play a pretty tough schedule.
They play a national schedule. They play a team from Florida. They play a team from Virginia. They play
St. Ed's. They
played St. Ed's, but they played that team was in the top 5 in the nation.
DeMatha from Florida?
They played DeMatha from D.C. area. Yeah. They play a really good schedule.
Coach, what is in scheduling these teams that we've been getting over the years that come from that area, what are they looking for? They have trouble scheduling as well, and they're just looking for a game?
They're all in leagues. Those are all leagues, but their first 3 games, they're open, okay? But in this case, National Christian is independent. They make their own schedule. They don't want to be in league. They want to be a national team. This is the second year that this coach has put this team together. Now, they've had a football team for a long time, but this coach has brought his own staff with him, and he wants to get with the DeMathas and he wants to play a national schedule, and they had 10th game open, so we took them. It was that or an open date. So,
I mean, on the national schedule, you're saying that, like, they're going to go anywhere, and then a
Like they
team
flew-
from anywhere is going to go there.
nah, they'll go because they flew to Florida, and the team paid for them to come down there, and then they played at the Matha, which isn't very far, but they want to play the St. Francis's. You know, they play St. Mary's. They play a really good schedule. They want to get Gonzaga on the schedule, so it's going to be before he's done, he's going to have a great team. They're like at National Christian.
What do they do offensively?
They're spread 3-by-1, 2-by-2. They run a little bit of power. They're 90% shotgun. Quarterback's he's the hub of the offense. The tailback's probably the second best player on the team. Their defensive end is going to Georgia Tech, and they got a number 7. I can't remember his name right now, but he's the defensive end that goes to your strength. And they got an inside tackle that's being heavily recruited, and their offensive line is they're good. They're a good football team.
Now, defensively, what are they going to do defensively?
They run a 4-man front, 4-2-5. They blitz more than I. They actually blitz more than I would that I would have thought they would, but they do a good job, man. They make you bounce it out there. They're not letting you run in the box, and so it's as hard headed as we are, we're going to try to run in the box, and they're not going to let you run in the box. So we'll see who does what.
They got good speed, Coach.
Real good speed. They got real good speed. They just and they spread the ball around. They have a couple. I would say they have a favorite receiver, but not a favorite enough where you can lean on him. You'd have to know where he's at, but if you lean on him, then they're going to come to the slot, or they got things to, they make you play straight up, man to man, whatever you call it, or zone. In basketball, how you play zone with man principles.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're going to have to do, play zone with man principles.
Ryan Lucas is coming in for the game. He said, "Do you need some help?"
Ryan Lucas, we could. He was in the same boat you were, but my begging got him out for football, so he played in '97, and he actually threw for about 1,400 yards.
He did. He had a nice one.
He was a beautiful, beautiful athlete for Big Red. He played football, he played basketball, he played baseball, and Twine never wore anything red. But I know when Ryan played, Twine was there backing him up. He wouldn't let anybody know it. He hit up there by the cemetery, and then Twinette backed him up too. So
I remember a play. I don't know if you remember. You guys were scrimmaging Canton McKinley. I think you're about this far from the goal line, and you run a boot, and my man booted, and that Miller kid that went to Ohio State Division I was right there. So he booted
knocked
back.
him through the fence.
No, he booted back. And I think he got sacked for like 45 yards. It was a scrimmage at Canton McKinley because me and my brother went because he was real good. We were real close to Ryan when we grew up.
So we went from first and a foot to second 45.
Ryan ain't stupid.
No, Ryan ain't
It's
stupid.
only a scrimmage. Let me get out of
Let
here.
me get out of here.
That's why I put him in front of Paul Hoover,
Because he played football?
because he came out and he helped us out, man.
People ask me that all the time. Me and him talk about it. Paul would have been a pretty good football player.
He would have been the starting quarterback.
He'd have been a good backup quarterback to Jason Bain.
He ain't listening, so he'll be all
I
right.
thought he'd be a good backup. I hope he's on the radio listening.
He's
to
not.
this.
Ryan is, but Paul's not.
G.I.
Yeah. That's what I was asking. Because it's, back in
But
the...
Paul was a good athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Paul was a good athlete.
Yeah.
I think that was Raymond's second year as the head basketball coach, and he told Paul
that
Hoover,
was my third.
Paul Hoover, and who's that left-hander that played center field for baseball?
Packinick.
Neil Packinick.
He got Neil Packinick and Hoover to quit football, and
Then Packinick quit basketball.
he did.
He didn't play.
So he quit everything. So
He would play baseball. It's got to be good when you coach so many years that you have all these guys that come back and follow you, though.
yeah, it's just Big Red's a special place, man, and it's gonna be tough to leave, and it's a special place. That special thing, like I got a text from Zach today. Give me a call later tonight. So I mean, it's just a special place to be, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy the players. Like J-Mo Creed stopped to practice today, and guys stop. Tor Hill stops every once in a while. Johnny Blue and Jeremy Blue stop, and the guys stop, and Stevie, and it's a great place to be.
Maybe we'll get Ryan Lucas to stop down tomorrow or Friday.
Maybe we'll have to suit him up though, but he can't be the quarterback. He'd be a tight end now.
Tight end. Oh yeah, he's big.
Yeah.
He's a little bit bigger now. He's a little bit bigger. Well, Coach. Well, you got playoffs coming up. You got 1 week left. Mm-hmm. You pretty much know where you're going to be seated at. How do you scout Friday? Who do you send? How do you manage doing it? 'Cause that's got to be a tough job.
We're not gonna scout this weekend. We're just in a right after our game Friday. We'll just start on film with the three possibilities. We'll put 3 coaches on each possibility and have those 3 teams ready to go, and whoever we get, we get. But we've done that 50 times, and half the time we pick the wrong teams. But with this 16 team getting in,
it's kind of tough.
It's tough. It's tough, but we know that if we're 2, we're playing 15. If we're 1, we're playing 16.
Yeah.
But 3 teams could be 15 and 16. So, when it comes down to 4 teams, we got to pick who we think the best 2 are.
Yeah.
And scout them heavily, and hopefully, if they don't make it, then the other 2 teams that beat them out aren't as good, and maybe you only need 1 or 2 games on them. So.
Will they announce that
I don't want to give up my secrets.
Yeah.
But
they'll announce that the pairings and everything on
Sunday at 1. They don't announce it anymore because they're too tired. They put it online, so somebody has to get it offline or whatever.
That was just a question I had to ask. It's kind of tough because at 8, at least you had a better idea. You could look. Yeah. When you get to 16, you got teams that are like 4 and 5, 4 and 5.
You know what? Right now, aside from Rock Creek, right now I'm just thrilled with the players that they get a home game, and if they win that game, they get another home game. And wherever we play, we play. But I'm just glad that the hard work that they gave us all year, starting in January, especially during May, June, and July, that they've earned an opportunity to play a home playoff game. And if they win that game, then they get a chance to play another one. So that's really what I'm happiest about right now. And we want to finish our goals Friday. And our goals aren't going to change, win or lose Friday, but it's a heck of a lot better winning the last game than it is losing the last game. So we're prepared, and today was a lot of physical work, and tomorrow will be a lot of mental preparation, and try to be fresh as heck on Friday.
All right, Coach, we'll let you go. You can go home and get ready for got a 7 o'clock one too?
Yeah.
7 o'clock. You're a busy man on Wednesdays. Wednesday's probably your worst day of the week.
That's okay. You guys treat me good. I'm glad to come out, and I always see your pretty wife. She stares at me all the time. She's wondering, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
But she can't even hear us now because she's chewing so loud her ears are bothering her.
Yeah, there you go. I still ain't got my food yet.
That's okay. You don't need any.
Thank you. All right, Coach. Good luck Friday
Thanks,
night.
you guys.
All
I
right,
appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, brother.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigans is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigans on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too. Only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigans even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigans. You know, Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice when it comes to any and all construction projects, whether it's commercial or residential. Make Fort Steuben Maintenance your first call. You can rely on them to be the experts when it comes to roofing, concrete, plumbing, carpentry, just about any job that needs done. Fort Steuben Maintenance, they're fully licensed and bonded and will even give you a free estimate. Fort Steuben Maintenance. You want the number? 740-283-4890.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Thanks, Everhart Bow Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
More and more these days, it feels like sports are losing out to hype. Who dissed who? Who signed the fattest contract? Who got busted for cheating? Lost 2 is the unique capacity sports have to inspire us, to unite us. Well, great news, sports fans. Sports are still being played for the right reasons. They're still as entertaining as they are character building. You just have to know where to find it. And you only have to look as far as your local Ohio high school. You know, the place where the games are exciting, concessions are affordable, and the parking is free. Where the emphasis is on hustle and heart instead of hype. If you prefer real, honest-to-goodness sport played for all the right reasons, you'll find it at your hometown high school. High school sports. Games are being played this weekend at an Ohio high school near you. Okay, everybody, who's in?
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Thanks, Everhart Bow Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
All right, we're back here at Bennigans. We're here with our second coach of the day, Andrew Connor, the head football coach of Indian Creek. His is being sponsored by Everhart Bow Funeral Home. Well, Coach, you got what you wanted. You started off quick, got the first score of the game. Tell us a little bit how it went.
Well, yeah, I thought we did well. We came out. We did what we wanted. I thought, we did well defensively at the beginning. And then, again, a costly mistake by us. We're driving and we turned the ball over. And it just seems like, when we have those moments, they're tough to get from. And then, we still had a chance, I think, in the second quarter there, and we turned it over again, and they were able to take that one back for a touchdown. So those kind of, when you're trying to get over that hump, which we talked about over and over, those aren't the kind of things you need. You need good breaks on your part, not breaks you're giving to the other team. So, I think our kids played hard, and the thing I ask for is, to play to the end. I thought we played to the end, and again, I know I say this over and over, but if you came to watch us practice, you'd have thought we were getting ready for the postseason the way we practiced this week. So hopefully that'll carry over, and we'll continue to get better from that point on.
Coach, I watched a little bit of the game on TV, and what you said there rang true for the fact that both your running backs were running the ball hard at the end of the game, and your kids were playing hard. They were still playing with some enthusiasm, I thought. So I think as a coach, that's pretty much most of what you can control is the effort of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is, this is, something that's important to me, the job I have here at Indian Creek, and, I want it to be important for the kids. I think, one of the things I always tell the kids, about this job is, I got lucky. This is my first and only head coaching job. My wife teaches in the district. I've been here for 20 years. One of the proud things for me is all my coaches have played for me at Indian Creek. And, the other thing that makes me proud is both of my kids graduated from Indian Creek. So as head football coach, that's what I try to, portray to my kids is this should be something special to you. And, as long as we play hard and we defend, that I see across their chest, and they're getting what I want out of this. It's just the results aren't what we want. We want wins, but, I think the attitude and, the way they play and the way they carry themselves, makes Indian Creek proud of who they are.
Well, you're doing that. I can tell you that because I know Coach Hammock, and me and Joe, I've talked to Joe plenty of times, and he wasn't lying last week when he told you that. I mean, Joe has got the utmost. He's the hardest working coach I know. He's the first one there, last one to leave. He's putting his effort into it. Sometimes sports has a way of taking you down. It's tough.
It humbles you.
That's
man.
what I was just going to say. Sports is a humbling experience.
It's very, very humbling, and that's why I believe that the only ones that are important are the coaches, the players, and the parents. I mean, they're the ones that are invested in it, and I'm just looking for better things for you in the future, Coach. I hope that this year pays the dividends that you're hoping for.
And I am. Like I said, I think each of our kids, if you go back and you watch individually, we think that every one of our kids has improved somewhere. It's just sometimes that improvement doesn't always show up in a specific play because, again, I can improve, you can improve, and you don't improve, and then that play's shot. I think overall, if you just look at what our kids have done from day one to now, there is a lot of improvement. And, again, I could be blinded by, obviously love of the kids, love of the school, but watching them practice today, made me feel good as a football coach because I thought to myself, what? It's cold, it's rainy, we're outside. Maybe a lot of teams need to go outside to practice today. And there we are, we're practicing, and we're practicing like we're getting ready to play, week 10 or week 11 and beyond. And here we are knowing that our season is going to wrap up Friday night. But, you never know about the kids' attitudes or their effort. And, maybe that's one of the biggest things we've learned this year is you finish with your start. You play hard and you finish, and and you have to deal with adversity. And we've dealt with our own adversity this year, and I think we've come out and kept playing, which says a lot about who our kids are.
And you got we talked about it several times in regards to your schedule. I mean, I think that allows your kids to get motivated because you're always playing a neighbor, and you get a win this week, a big win this week against an undefeated Edison team, and you take that into the off season.
And that's what we've been trying to tell our kids. You're right now on a point of spoiler. And there were a lot of years when we looked at this rivalry. It was the opposite way.
Right.
They were trying to play the role of spoiler for years, and for us this year, they're coming in, and for us, this is our moment. Like if we could play, a football game that's complete, we could send our seniors off on senior night with something special, and that's what we've been working for all week.
I was looking at your schedule this week. I mean, you played one playoff team, two playoff teams, three playoff teams, four playoff teams, five playoff teams. A possibility for another, depends what they do this Friday, a playoff team, a playoff team, a playoff team. That's pretty good.
It is.
I mean, that's 10 games, and you got at least 6, 7, maybe 8 if Ferry can pull off an upset they're in. I mean, you look at schedules, you tell me a schedule that has 8 teams that get a shot to make playoffs.
Right, that's our thing. We told our kids, we've been, and again, final score does not always indicate where we're at in a football game, and I believe that in all our games, we've been in those games, and we've fought in those games. It's just that we can't ever kind of right our own ship, and that's one of the things we do have to learn is when something does go wrong, we have to be able to overcome it within game. Not just the effort, but to make a play here, to make a play there, and that's one of the things we're hoping for this week is we'll be able to kind of get over that hump, make a few plays, and put ourselves in a position to do something special on Friday night.
Well, getting to the Harrison game, because that's a rivalry game too. You played Beaver, Harrison, and now Edison this Friday. In the Harrison game, you said just turnovers. It's a humbling when you get that, and it's like a landslide when it goes. It's just tough to stop the sand. Quicksand. Everybody uses the word quick. You can't get out of it. But like Coach says, your running backs are running hard. How do you get them to get ready for Week 10, and knowing that this is our last game, especially young kids? I know it's tough. You can see it in practice. They're playing hard, but their mindset, how do you keep them mentally prepared?
Well, I think one of the things is, you got to be, to the point of honest with them.
Yeah.
I think, we talked about that last week. And I think the other big thing, that Ray mentioned is, we're playing our arch rival. Sometimes that's why you put your arch rival in Week 10 is because that's the game you're going to get your kids are going to get up for it on their own. They're going to get up for it because, there's the communication between everybody outside of the football arena, and I think that's kept them, not only interested but vested in what they're going to do this week, and I think they see something that they have right here. I mean, you have a team trying to finish up their season, and they're going on to the playoffs, and so for us, this would be a good gauge for us, for where we're going to be in the off season, our weight conditioning program. This would be a great jump start for us if we could go in and play 4 quarters of good football and see where it falls.
I think that's another challenge, your kids are going to have to face when the season's over, is the weight program, and recommit themselves come January. I guess you would start your program. Give the kids some time off, I'm sure. Do you have to do that? Is that state mandated?
29 days.
29 days?
From your last game.
From your last game.
So we'll start somewhere around December.
Right, so...
You're all over it. You got the date circled.
Well, I think that's a good thing, but I think that's another challenge, because, as coaches, we can only control so much, and you're so worried about the outside poison, that will surround them when they're out of your care. You know what I mean? When they're out of your care. So hopefully the kids will overcome that and recommit to the off-season program. But we ain't there yet, Coach. We still got a game to play.
We do. And like I said, I think our kids, they've understood what they had this week. No kids missing. No kids coming up. Because you'd say, hey, you're 1-8. You got 1 week to go. It's been, terrible weather. There'd be a lot of reasons to say, I don't feel good. I'm not coming. My back hurts. We haven't had that. Again, that's a credit to those young men that they've said, we're in this to finish our season. And so, I think when you see that energy, you feel like that is a big part of the growing pains we've gone through this year is what is our commitment level. And it's hard to get anybody committed to anything today. So, I'm proud of the kids and their commitment level. No one's quit. No one's come up with excuses. No one's said anything else. They've all come. They're all there. And I think that says a lot about, hopefully some of the things we got out of this year that, maybe don't show up on a scoreboard, but, that are going to be very important for us as we move forward in the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
It's good when you have good seniors because seniors can push them young kids in the right direction, but if you're playing hard, you can tell when a kid's not playing hard. You can watch it on film. Just watching the tape, it looks like your kids are playing hard no matter what the score is. Doesn't make a difference. And I tell people this all the time. Sometimes you're just not talented enough to win a football game sometimes, or you make a mistake sometimes where it costs you a football game. It happens. Like me and Ray said, it's humbling being a coach. Sometimes you think you're all ready to go, and then bad things happen in a sporting event.
Well, and the big thing is, I told the kids always, and I said it in the paper this week, if there's something going on that we're not doing well, it starts with me. It's an easy thing. It's one of those things. I think it's a very cheap way to say, well, it's them or this or it's me. And I told the kids, I'm big enough to be able to, take whatever comes from it. I just want the kids, like I said, the one thing I judge them on is basically on how hard they play and the level of emotion or commitment they show at the end of a football game. There's something about looking at a teenage boy that is why I told him from the day one, I wouldn't trade this group or trade this season. Obviously for them, I wish we'd win more, but the level of what they've learned, I hope goes a long way for them and makes them better people down the road, especially my seniors who've hung in there with me. It was only a group of 5, but those 5 guys all play on Friday night, and it'll be difficult. I think the one thing, if you ask a coach, it's the most difficult thing for them, is that last game, senior night, not because of anything other than, they've been with you. It's like watching your kids grow up and they're moving on. And, these 5 kids have really withstood a lot over the last couple of years, and I'm very thankful to have these 5.
I think you hit it right on the nose with the people today, how today is. It's easy to turn your back and say, I don't want to do it no more. That's what they're teaching kids these days. College, you can go to college. Well, I don't like it. I'm just going to leave. It's everywhere now. It's in everything that you do. Work, I don't like this job. I'll go find another job. It's good that your kids are staying there because most kids wouldn't. They would just turn their back and say, I'm done. I'll go back. I'll go play basketball. I'll go wrestle. I'll get ready for the next sport. That's a testament to you.
Well, and my thing is, I told the kids, I don't care if people get on me about how much football I've lost in knowledge over the last couple of years or whatever, but I just don't want to take shots at the kids.
Would you do
lots of loss of knowledge, I guess.
Yeah.
And so
you got dumb all of a sudden.
I got dumb all of a sudden, and so I don't care if those people are on me about it. But The one thing I don't like to hear or see or is how much they've tried, our kids. So the one thing I always tell fans, you can say what you want about me, but make sure you realize, it's hard to get a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old athlete today to stay committed and keep playing. And for people to take shots at them, I find that ludicrous, I guess.
Well,
in a way,
I always had that attitude too, Coach. I mean, and I think you're right on about that. I mean, just the emotion that goes in and the importance that's laid on athletics, and we're in this area that we're at. But they can beat you up all they want. You're a big boy. You can take it. You've been around the block. But it is very, very disturbing to hear people attack kids. I mean, it's wrong. I mean, it's just dead wrong, and it doesn't stop. So I credit all the kids just to come and get ready to play, because, like we talk about rivalry, all your games are emotional, and they got to bounce back the next week, and they're doing that for you. That's why I hope you go out in style Friday night. And I hope it carries in to your off-season program. That's what you got to be looking for, I think.
All right, we'll take our first break here with Coach Andrew Connor, being sponsored by Everhart Bow Funeral Home. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about this week's opponent, the Edison Wildcats.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Thanks a lot for following us at Ohio Valley Sports Online. Why not visit our webpage at OhioValleySportsOnline.com? It's the way to go for sports fans around the globe to follow your favorite local sports teams.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
All right, we're back here with head football coach Andrew Connor from Indian Creek. This week opponent, Andrew, 9-0 Edison Wildcats. Got a playoff seeded up. I've watched them play a couple times. Looks like they go off with their quarterback, 6'7", whatever, 6'6", 6'7" kid. They got two backs that can run the football, just us doing a couple games. What kind of other problems are they going to give you Friday night?
Well, I mean, they play hard. I mean, I think that's the number one thing. I think when you play hard and you take it to the team you're playing, it always puts pressure on you as a coach and a team. From my side point, the defense. But I think they present you with a couple things. They can throw the ball. They've got guys who can go catch the football for them, and then they're not one-dimensional. So sometimes you wish you could just play somebody that was one-dimensional, so you only had to do one thing at practice. They're not. They run the ball very well and very effectively. They have it going right now. They're playing well. They're a confident football team. You can see that in the way their kids play. And so for us, we're going to have to match their intensity. We're going to have to match their physicality. And again, that's what you hope a rivalry game will do for your side, is that it will kind of give you that extra little push, in a situation where they have the playoffs to look forward to and we don't. So, again, you have to value what you are in a game. And, we're the underdog, so, we got to make the most of that underdog status. And, our kids got to buy into that and believe in that. And like I said, I've seen this rivalry from the other side. When they were the underdog and they embraced it. All the years with Coach McKenzie or the other coaches that they have there, they embraced that over the years of being the underdog, and they played us, very tough, and it made that game 10 a very hard game. And the roles are reversed now, so we're hoping to do the same thing here on Friday night.
Is it the key to getting to the ground, the quarterback? Because it seems like the 3 games that we've seen, teams were having trouble getting to the ground.
That's basically the thing that
I know it's tackle football. I'm just saying. Teams they're going high on it. They're going high on him.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is we tell our kids if we're going to make this a game of 1 versus 1 on tackling, then that always benefits the runner.
Yeah.
Our goal has to be to get as many helmets to the ball as possible, so that we're doing tackling of 3 or 4. That makes the odds in your favor much better. So, we've practiced all week of trying to make sure that we get to the ball, that we wrap up. We've been working on our tackling this week to make sure, again, that our tackling is well done, our heads are up. We're wrapping up. A lot of times you take a guy of that size and you just want to run into him and not bring your arms. You're going to make, for a long night for yourself. So, again, we've worked on those things, and I think those are things we're going to have to count on Friday, that we're going to get a lot of guys to the ball. We're going to wrap up, and we're going to do good at tackling and not, put ourselves in a spot where we're doing a lot of one-on-one stuff.
Well, defensively, they get to the ball. Watching their games when we did their first game of the season against Monroe Central, it looks like their defense is really quick. They get to the ball. What surprised me, Andrew, they had more athletes than I thought they were going to have. They got some wide receivers that can run a little bit. Not like the past guys. Edison was usually a run, throw 3 or 4 passes. Now they can throw it 50-50. You can. It's I just seen them play a couple games, but if they had to throw it, they can throw it.
Well, I think being around this rivalry for 21 years now, I think that their kids have always been kids that compete and they play hard, and over the years they've had a lot of athletic kids, and they've always seemed to play really well against us. So. I think nothing's going to change this week. I think, you have a football team that, has really got themselves going. The kids have worked hard, and I'm sure, they have talked about, as a team, collectively finishing their season. So it's up to us to do our part now to make sure that we don't make this easy and we don't just hand this over to them. So, we got to play smart. We got to play physical. And again, we got to make our own breaks. One of the things that I'm getting kind of tired of kind of back on is always we break for the other team. We got to do something for us. We got to get a big play for us this week, whether it's offense or defensively, try to get us going a little bit too. So, I think like I said, I think our kids are focused in. They're zeroed in on what they have to do. And, and again, over the years, like I've said, that this game has always been, a tough, hard-hitting game, and I'd expect the same thing, this time around.
Andrew, who are your 5 seniors? We'll talk about them a little bit.
Our 5 seniors, Nate Allen plays on our offensive and defensive lines for us. Isaac Robinson is one of our running backs and plays in our secondary for us. Bryson Bodo is playing tight end for us, and he plays defensive end. Luca Morelli plays tight end, and he plays our linebacker. And Gavin Gross is our kicker, but he also plays wide out and starts for us at DB.
Special night for them this Friday, right?
It is. It's a special night for their families, for us. Like I said, I don't think, unless you've done this before, you really realize how hard it is. That final talk that you give these guys, and, that final time coming up through the steps and out the tunnel on your home field. Some of these guys have been invested in it for 6 years, junior high to high school. And I know one of the things I told them today is, you always remind your kids, it's going to go in a hurry.
Right.
And I've done this a lot now because, I've been coaching forever. But, you see a kid who was a freshman, and then you blink and he's a senior. And you're a big part of their lives. And, and it's more than just, coaching. Those 5 kids, with Bryson, I coached his father at Catholic Central, when you look at these guys.
Robbie Bodo.
Yeah, and he's same age as David, my brother. And, when you look at like Luca, I've known his dad, Richie, forever, and, you look at these guys and you say, these kids are part of, who you are as a fabric. And, just to say bye, it's not just a normal bye. It's not, it's not just something where you say when the game's over, it's over. This is, not seeing them anymore. And this really, for me, is, I told my wife this yesterday, this is the hardest thing for me as a head football coach is, I always know that I get a kid as a freshman, I'm going to have 4 years with them, but to actually see them, I meet with my senior class before their last game always. And, when I go in that room and I realize this is finality, it's hard. I mean, it is a very, very difficult thing to be a part of someone's life, to have them do as much as they do for you. The listening to you and, listening to me whine or complain or holler at them. And then to know that, you've been a part of their lives. And even today we had our senior dinner, at our school. And, they sat over by me and they had to fill out a paper about their favorite memory. And their favorite memory all included something with me. That's a lot for me.
That's a beautiful thing.
In a year where we haven't done as well as I wish for their sake, to know that, their favorite memory still has me involved in it after, going 1-8 to this point, still says maybe that I did the right things in their lives more than just football. Like I said, it's easy to criticize me on the coaching part. Obviously, I'm 1-8. Doesn't take a genius to figure out you can criticize that. But to know that those kids, if I did right by the kids, then I can live with myself. That's the important part of coaching, I think, is you want to do right by your kids. You want to give them the best benefit of, not only winning, but also, having a program they can say, what, my 4 years, I played for Coach Connor, I played for those coaches, and I played for that school, and that's something I would never trade with anything, no matter the wins or losses of it.
Well, see, that's a beautiful thing, Andrew, because none of us got rich coaching. But
I got a big shoe contract. I don't know what you're talking about. Coach D took care. That's why people were on me. They're saying, hey, he's getting paid all this money. Why can't he do something?
Well, good for you. But
you can tell by the shoes I got on. My kids make fun of these shoes all the time.
That's because you're old school. But the relationships that we have, winning and losing, but with the kids over the years, I mean, Billy Ellis still tells everybody when we got in the huddle, he drew the plays up. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you have to take the clipboard from him.
So that's what I love. I love the fact, and I agree with you. I mean, just a lifetime of memories with all these kids that go through. The tough thing, Charlie Watt always told me, he goes, Raymond, he says, I remember all the kids. He said, I just don't remember the years.
Me too.
And that's what happens to me now because, like, when I talk to somebody, I'm saying, okay, who did he play with? What year was that and stuff like that. And that's how you got to remember. But it's a beautiful thing, the relationships that you have over the years. I mean, and, God bless you on that. What's your 5 seniors?
What's that?
I said, God bless you on that fact with these 5 seniors.
And here's the thing. And the one big thing I wanted to get is, over the years, the one thing I wanted, and I think the schools promoted this, and, this is a top-down thing, is, we want to run a program that you can be proud of, that shows class, no matter what's going on around us, whether it's winning or losing. And I think that's something we've really pushed for at Indian Creek is doing things the right way, winning with class, playing with class, making sure that people say, no matter what we're doing, winning, losing, playing, whatever sport it may be, whatever it is that you're doing it the right way. And I think that's something the kids have learned over the years here at Indian Creek, whether it's playing for me or another coach. I think we're all on the same page that, the IC, the Indian Creek, you want to do it the right way and you want to do it in a classy way. And I think, that's something that the kids will always have. And hopefully that's something they always learn. And hopefully they take that and say, no matter what happens, you don't want to do it the wrong way. It doesn't matter if it benefits you, but if you do it the wrong way and it benefits you, that's really not a benefit. I'm hoping that our kids got that out of playing, at Indian Creek, and they're proud to wear the school colors. And, like I said, it'll be a very hard time, very emotional time for me on Friday because, again, for the 20th time, I'm going to say, goodbye to a senior class. And again, I just feel fortunate that I can say it's been 20 times, at a school that has, made me very happy. And, hopefully, that relationship continues. And, like I said, first head coaching job and last head coaching job when I took the job. So, again, hopefully for our kids, they, hang in there, do what they practice all week, and, we do something special on Friday night.
Well, Coach, we're going to let you go, and I can tell you one thing. I am 48 years old. I still call Coach. I still call my baseball coach, and I'm 48. So if they're calling you Coach, you did something well, because they gained your respect, and that's the biggest thing about when you coach is they have respect for you. But we hope you get a win Friday night, and, well, get in the weight room. I know you got the date circled, and I know you got it circled on the calendar. You can't wait to get back at it, and we'll see you next year. And
I appreciate
it
very much.
Something different.
Good luck to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for everything.
Good luck,
Thanks.
Andrew.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with the 7 o'clock coach, Josh Frankie from Toronto Red Knights.
Thanks. Thank you.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
More and more these days, it feels like sports are losing out to hype. Who dissed who? Who signed the fattest contract? Who got busted for cheating? Lost too is the unique capacity sports have to inspire us, to unite us. Well, great news, sports fans. Sports are still being played for the right reasons. They're still as entertaining as they are character building. You just have to know where to find it. And you only have to look as far as your local Ohio high school. You know, the place where the games are exciting, concessions are affordable, and the parking is free. Where the emphasis is on hustle and heart instead of hype. If you prefer real, honest-to-goodness sport played for all the right reasons, you'll find it at your hometown high school. High school sports. Games are being played this weekend at an Ohio high school near you. Okay, everybody, who's in?
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks a lot for following us at Ohio Valley Sports Online. Why not visit our webpage at ohiovalleysportsonline.com. It's the way to go for sports fans around the globe to follow your favorite local sports teams.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bennigans Restaurant here at Franciscan Square. Jim Huggins along with Jason Jenkins, Dan Vogel on our controls, joined by Toronto head coach Josh Frankie, whose team, as we come into Week 10, sitting pretty good, come up with a big win this past weekend, and getting some of your best players back now, and you rolled over Pymatuning Valley. What was the game like on Friday for you?
To be honest with you, I think they played a little better run defense than we originally anticipated. I think, we were obviously getting Zane Kinsey back, and, he's a big piece of what we like to do offensively. He's a huge weapon, and thought we were just going to have this explosion in the run game, and they actually did pretty good bottling us up early. But Zeb came out and completed some passes downfield, opened them up a little bit for us to have a little bit more success and late in the second quarter and then in the second half. But defensively, again, I thought they played really well and really challenged us. I thought our defense played really well on the flip side of that, and I think they had something. It was some crazy, ridiculous stat. They didn't have any first downs in the first half, and I think it was like 17 total yards in the first half, something crazy. So our defense played really, really well. So happy to see that.
Yeah, just tell us about it had to be a lift. The added emotion of having a healthy Zeb and a healthy Zane. The effect it had on the rest of the team.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest, you never want a kid to get hurt, but his absence made us mature more as a team. I feel like before his injury, he was kind of like our safety blanket. Like, all right, when all else fails, you give Zane Kinsey the ball, and he's going to make something happen. And we had to learn how to play football without Zane Kinsey. And, that's not necessarily easy to do. But in order to, we got him back. Obviously that, like you said, it's a kind of a weight you feel lifted off you. You finally get that security back for the team. But like I said, they were pretty stout in their run defense and forced Zeb to make some plays downfield to our receivers. Don Belcher had a big touchdown catch for us. Nolan Dickinson did some damage through the air. I don't know if that happens without having to learn how to manage without Zane. So, I guess that's the bright side of things to that injury. But again, glad to have him back. Obviously, he's an excellent player. Still rushed for over 100 yards. I think he had 125 yards, something like that. So he did, phenomenal job. And listen, after you've missed 4 weeks of football, it's going to take you some time to get back acclimated to the speed of things and get back into shape and condition. So
being hit again, all that.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he had some of that. Just reservations about, they say I'm healthy, but what's going to happen the first time I get hit? How's that going to feel? So again, I'm sure he had some reservations, and as he gets going, I'm sure he's only going to get better each week. So,
it was nice. Take away any kind of playoff things aside, and if you were just finishing your season, and that's your last home game, to let the seniors go out with a big win, big effort by all of them to wrap up their careers, even though we know the playoffs are coming. But if that had been the case, that would have been pretty nice also for them. So at least you get to continue on, and they got to go out at least out of the home gate with a win.
Right. And I mean, that's something obviously you talk about prior to heading out to the locker room. Now, we only have 2 seniors, so but that's the message. Hey, listen, one of these days everybody in this room is going to be a senior, and they want to win their senior night.
All right.
And it's you guys owe it to these guys to let them have their potentially their last game on this field be a win. And I think that's the motivation for most teams on senior night.
And you talked about you were able to move the ball through the air when you had to, you're able to run. But I wanted to talk more about the defensive effort that you guys put forth. What was it that you saw early? Like you said, the first half, they didn't first downs in less than 20 yards.
Right. Well, we knew they were going to want to run the ball. That's primarily what they do. They have a lot of quarterback run, and whenever you're running your quarterback, that's an additional blocker you can have in the box. So kind of at the very least, it evens the numbers in the box. It's rare when your quarterback's running the ball that you can ever outnumber somebody in the box defensively. So that's what's going to happen. We made a slight adjustment. We've had a freshman playing really well at middle linebacker for us by the name of Landon Jaworski. What we ended up doing is with him playing so well, we gave him, he's been starting there several weeks, but because of injuries and things, we've had some kids bouncing around. We were able to put Andy Silverthorne back on the defensive line.
Okay.
And, we bumped him. He's played a lot of linebacker this year. We put him back on the defensive line. They had a bigger stouter offensive line. So being able to put Andy down there, and then we had Caden Benton down there, who's obviously a big kid, and then we have our quick little guy Spencer Board, wreck some havoc in there. So, but adding Andy to the defensive line again puts a Division I college football prospect down on the defensive line to kind of bottle some things up, and he played a really good game as well. So, it's I think that made a big difference defensively for us, and you got to give the defensive staff credit. Coach Ludwig every week comes up with different adjustments to different formations. See, defensive football is a lot different than offensive football. Defensive is like reactionary, like, hey, here's how they're going to line up. This is how we're going to line up to the way they come out. It's all reactive based off of what the offense is doing. So, give Coach Ludwig some credit, being able to sit down, watch the opponent film, figure out their alignments and what they're trying to accomplish, and then base his alignments off of that. I mean, that's that you got to give him a lot of credit.
I know Landon's mom. Is you sure he's old enough to be playing high school football?
Yeah. Listen, he's for a freshman. He's really come a long ways. He's played a big role for us this year. I graduated with his mom actually, so it's kind of weird for me having somebody I graduated with there. Coach.
We should have Jimmy Buffett concert together.
Yeah.
Mutual friends.
There you go.
So what? Now that you get that game out of your way. When you came in the locker room at the end of the game and the finality sets that, that's our regular season is, we got one game left, but that's our last, in theory, home game. Mm-hmm. What you told your team there to get them ready from now on, from here on out, with a chance of, I don't know if you've got I haven't seen the possibilities if you're going to play a home game or not, but as to what the second season is about to unfold for you.
Well, we didn't even make it to the locker room. We said we went over. We sung the alma mater with the band, and the moment that alma mater was over, you heard the kids, saying, what week it is now. So I think it's fair to say there's not a player on my team that is looking at Week 11 and who we play next week. All attention is set on this week's opponent. So that's for sure. And this is the 1 week where we don't have to be worried about kids looking ahead. This is the game that they look ahead to all year almost. So.
It's usually a really good game. I remember a couple of years ago when Central was driving with a chance to get into the playoffs.
Zach Stackhouse intercepts him in the end zone.
Right, and almost takes it back the other way, and then Mahalio tracked him down around the 3. He said, I'm not letting somebody score on us to end the game. It's really, in theory, already ended with the interception, but it's nice to have that kind of rivalry among you guys, too. I mean, it's only 5 miles difference up the road, so it's always nice to have a rivalry like that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, we expect the same this year. It's always a tough game. The kids on both sides of the teams look forward to this game. This is a fun one to play in. This is a fun one to play in. This is a fun one to coach. And I think, there's going to be a lot of energy out on that football field come Saturday night.
Coach, with the back to the Palmer-Tuning game, with the big lead, you're able to get a lot of. I know you play a lot of younger kids, but you're able to basically get a lot of the kids that play the scout squad or wherever that help you out during the week. Were they able to get some of those guys in? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we were able to get some of those guys in. Brock Hughes got to play most of the fourth quarter. We did keep Zane in there because Zane needed to get some 4 quarters of football. You know what I mean? Because even prior to Zane getting hurt, he was a lot of times being pulled in third quarter because of the score. Right. So we wanted to make sure he got 4 quarters of play. We kept him in there. We rotated in some other linemen. We actually pulled Zeb from linebacker pretty early on. I want to say halfway through the second quarter. After I think it was we went up 20 or 21-0. We ended up pulling Zeb from linebacker position and let Lucas Wiseman, who's another freshman, go in and play some linebacker. Just because, again, Zeb's an important part of this team. We don't want him getting too banged up for the playoffs. So pulled him relatively early, and then our defensive line rotation. We're fortunate enough we've been rotating anywhere between 5 to 6 guys on the defensive line front. So to be able to rotate those guys in, we started Brady Fair at safety for the last week, and he did a tremendous job for us at safety. Caden McGrath has started at corner for us the last 4 weeks. Caden McGrath started at corner. He's another freshman. So, I mean, a lot of your backup guys that you would, be looking to get in and get some reps. A lot of those backup guys were already playing and starting. So.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But it's good to get, and people don't realize what that does to, help build your program even more.
Absolutely.
Being able to get these guys, they basically, started playing their freshman year.
Right. Like,
against starters.
Correct. We have guys like, name them off. We got Brady Fair. We got Caden McGrath. We got Lana Jaworski. We got Heath Thomas. We got Brock Hughes has seen a ton of time. Brody Winters has seen a lot of time. I mean, right there, there's 6. Lucas Wiseman has seen a lot of time. So right there, there's 7 freshmen who have, either started or played significant minutes for us. They're going to be ready to go next year as sophomores.
That's a ton of talent. I mean, it's about a quarter after here. Jags, you want to take the first break? Boss?
Yeah, we could take a break right now, and we'll get more involved with the with Toronto's game coming up against Catholic Central. It's getting close to the playoff time. One more week left in the regular season.
Right.
For some teams, it'll be their final game of the year. For some, like yourselves, get a chance to move on and survive in advance. So we'll come back. We'll talk with Coach Frankie about the Crusaders of Catholic Central after we return from these messages.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete.
Thanks, J.E. Foster Funeral Home, for sponsoring Toronto Red Knights head football coach Josh Frankie on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
We're back here at Bennigans here live with the Toronto Red Knight Coaches Show. Coach Josh Frankie, sponsored by J.E. Foster Funeral Home. And let's get right into, like you said, this is the week. This is every player that plays for Toronto looks forward to this week in taking on the Steubenville Catholic Central Crusaders, and big implications on the line. You're in. They're looking to try to get in. And, you're trying to get, you want to possibly have a home game. So it's just, just like every year.
Sure.
It's a big game, Coach.
And that's, I think we're trying to get that home game. Right now we're sitting in the 9th spot. The positioning from 7, 8, 9, 10, there's us, Lucas, Matthews, and Springfield. And we're all kind of, the numbers are razor thin, and it's going to come down to the wire, but obviously, we have to control what we can control, and that's, the game Saturday.
Right.
So our kids know, hey, you want to host a home playoff game, you got to win Saturday. And that's just kind of like adds to a little bit of the motivation of Saturday's game. And like you said, they're I think they're already in, but I tell you what, looking at Warren JFK, I don't think there's anybody in the region that wants to play them. So I'm sure they would much rather have they'd much rather have like a 13 or 12 seed by beating us if they could. So there's still a lot to play for, and this game has a lot of meaningful minutes to it.
How do you go about getting, if you're in, there could be up to let's say 3 teams that you could play in the first round. If you win, you got these 3 teams. If Central would beat you, you would have these 3 teams. How do you go about covering all them scouting-wise for potential opponents 2 weeks from now?
You hate to say you're looking ahead, but I think as a coach, once you get past Tuesday, Wednesday, if you're doing your due diligence as a head football coach, you've already watched so much film that on this week's opponent by Tuesday, Wednesday, that any more time you're going to spend watching film or preparing is probably overkill, if there's such a thing. So today I started looking a little bit. I have some connections with some other coaches, and try to get some film on some other guys that could be potential suitors for us in the next round or in the first round, and you kind of peek a little bit and just see kind of what you're running up against. I mean, not that it much matters until the cards are all on the table and everything falls where they do, but just so you have an idea. like Lucas, for example, runs double wing, and I mean they are foot-to-foot splits, and the fullback is almost directly behind the quarterback. I mean, they could literally run their offense in a 10-yard by 10-yard field, and they could all fit right in there. So just get some unique, different looks, and just kind of see what's ahead for you a little bit. But by no means are you looking ahead as much as you just kind of want to have an idea, because listen, we're going into a short week next week. Playoffs are going to be played on a Friday night for everyone, and we're losing a day. Having a Saturday game, we're losing a day. So now that's the other thing too, is Saturday morning I might wake up, and Friday night there's going to obviously be some games played, but Saturday morning we're going to know, like, hey, if we win, we're going to play this team. If we lose, we're going to play this team. And I might do a little bit more looking and researching Saturday morning, and just kind of see where we're going to be.
Yeah, it's not only the fastest 10 to 15 weeks, it's also the busiest 10 to 15 weeks of the year for you. And, we're neighbors. Steubenville, Toronto, like Jack's had 5 miles apart. So, you obviously seen them, they've seen you. What are you expecting offensively from the Crusader team?
Listen, I mean, they run some things that, you definitely have to account for. Very similar to Pontotoc Valley. They want to get their quarterback involved in the run game. They run some double ISO with their quarterback and have their 2 lead backs come through. They run counter tray, which is always a difficult play to defend. It's my personal favorite offensively. We run it a lot. But you need to make sure that your gap sound when they because really when you're pulling that guard and tackle, you're creating 2 additional gaps on the backside of that play. Right. So you have to make sure that you're not just accounting for one open gap, but for the second one by them pulling their guard and their tackle. So they do like that play. They run it a little. They run it a couple different ways, from a 2-back set and single back set. So again, just have to account for that. They like to use number 18 in a lot of different ways, through the jet sweep. Then they'll run counter tray off, faking the jet sweep. Then they use him as a receiver. They use him in the wildcat formation, let him run the ball. So he's similar in my eyes to our Don Boucher. They try to get him involved in a lot of different ways, and he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of sorts. He's a young kid too, sophomore.
Yes.
I think he's a good ball player. And again, they're going to try to mix it around. I don't think, even though that he's their I think their playmaker. They're not the type of team that they're just going to focus on getting him the ball every play.
Right.
They like to spread it around, and they'll spread you out a little bit, make you defend some different things.
Is there anybody out there in the playoff field that if you have your druthers, say, hey man, we really match up good against this team, I'd like to play them in the first round? Or Does it matter?
I'll be honest with you. I'd really like to play Matthews. See, we're in a unique spot because if we don't get home field advantage and we end up with the 9 seed, we're probably playing Matthews, which I believe that's the best matchup for us out there. But the unfortunate thing with the 8 or 9 seed is if you win that first week, the very next week you get the 1 seed. So it's not necessarily always what you want to do. If we get a home game, we're probably going to end up hosting either Lucas or Springfield, and Springfield was the Division VI state runner-up last year. Okay. So, when you look at the 3 potential suitors that we have, I'd like Matthews the most. And then both Lucas and Springfield would be very tough first-round opponents. Really going to test us.
Right.
So.
But I'm sure it doesn't matter to you.
Listen, it's out of our control. I mean, we can control Saturday, and that's about it. And we got to play whoever falls on our slot. So
Saturday, run us through. Or you practice Friday night. Obviously, tell the kids get some good night rest. Run us through Saturday. The morning of the big game.
Listen, we usually want to get the kids up around around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock the latest. We tell them, hey, make sure you're up, make sure you're moving around. Saturday's a busy day for me. My oldest daughter has volleyball tryouts in Pittsburgh.
Oh my!
So we got to drive up there, and then she has to get back. She has a Titan. She's a cheerleader. She has a Titan varsity game at 12:30. She needs to be back for. Huh. And then they have the game that night. So it's the Frankie family's on the move Saturday, but our kids will get up. Like I said, around 11, 12, we'll get them moving around. We'll have team meal at the school at 2:30.
Who's catering the meal?
Listen, DJs is providing the meal. DJs is providing the meal at 2:30, and this is again, it's special game calls for a special meal. The kids are they're probably just as excited about the meal as they are the game. So
can we do Dan first Ohio Valley Sports Online pregame meal?
There you go.
Pregame meal show.
I'm gonna call Jackie and get us invited.
There you go. So we'll go pregame meal. We'll do a walkthrough. We usually have a motivational period as well, and then we get taped up, padded up, packed up. We'll hit the buses and. Listen, I tell you, one of my favorite game day rituals that we do since I've gotten here is, most in the coach's office, most of the week we have, football on, Big Ten Network, ESPN, whatever. But Fridays, game days, and for this week, Saturday, we always, especially in the month of October, we're turning on AMC. We're watching some Halloween movies.
Oh, really?
Halloween. Listen, last Friday before Pompatuny Valley, good old Michael Myers, the original Halloween was on. We were watching that before going out. So
at least you're watching the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, could be worse. Could be worse. So.
Oh, good. That's nice. But don't be surprised if you see Jags at me and Dan Saturday.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't blame you. That's
right. What time is that?
We eat good. I'll tell you what. Our kids eat good. We have a lot of our donations, our donors. They take good care of us and make sure that. And listen, that's important to me. You don't know what some of these kids have at home, and you don't know if they're getting any type of substance prior to a game, and if they're you jeopardize them coming on an empty stomach to play a football game, and you don't want that. So at least one day a week we can make sure our kids are get a really good meal that they might not otherwise get, and they're able to play a football game on an empty.
It's win-win anyways, because the business that supplies that, whether it be DJs or Margaret's or whoever, gets publicity out of that also.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, these people care about the kids. Let's go eat there.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, listen, and again, I wish I could take credit, but when I was at Central Crossing High School in Columbus as a receivers coach, the head coach I was under, Chris Haar, did that. And, we would have Buffalo Wild Wings one Friday. We'd have Chipotle one Friday. And, for me, looking back on when I played, I'm like, man, this is really cool. I wish they would have done this for me. Like, these kids eat good
Right.
So it was something that I tried to continue as, when I took over and became a head coach, try to get those meals donated.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. That is fantastic. Well, I won't keep you here. We'll see what time we got here. It's 7:28. Any last thing you want to say, before we get into this is the week, like you said?
This is the week, man. Listen, there's not much to say at
this
point.
Still have that clock?
We still have the clock. The clock is running and functional, and the kids see it every single day. So again, this is one of those weeks where we don't have to say a whole lot. The kids know. And I will say this, when I took over here and it was my first season here, we played Catholic Central is the first game on the schedule.
I remember that.
And I remember that week of practice was like, it was just the kids, it was almost like they were just playing another game, and there wasn't any meaning attached to it. It wasn't like you're playing your rival. It wasn't like Ohio State, Michigan. Like, it wasn't like that, and that really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like that when I was playing at Toronto. It was, this was the
like
game
kids know
you
each
look
other,
for.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like
they grew
you
up.
look
Yeah.
forward to this game, and I grew up playing Titan football with Timmy Pestian and Brian Santon and Jeff Barlow, and when high school came, they went to Catholic Central,
Right.
and you're playing against them. Those guys were your best friends, but they weren't your friends that week.
Exactly.
And that game meant something. And I remember we lost that for that first game, 35-0. And they were good. They were a good team. We lost 35-0. That was my first game back as the Toronto head coach, and I vowed that we were going to renew what the Catholic Central game meant for Toronto football, and I think we've done that. Our kids, this is a very meaningful game to our kids.
That's excellent. Excellent. Well, I wish you luck. We're going to wish Coach Meek luck. I wish you luck. Thank you once again for coming every week, taking time.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys for having us, man.
Or we believe we've been doing this for a few years now. How long you been at
This
Grosvenor?
is year 5.
Yeah, we've been doing that for at least 5 years.
Year 5. So
we appreciate it, Josh, and we'll get a chance to talk to you. We'll have a guy down on the sideline Saturday night.
Awesome.
And they'll get a chance to talk to you if beginning the game, and then if you win, we'll have somebody talk to you. If you lose, we don't bother. It's probably a good lose.
Listen, I'm not very friendly after losses.
No,
so
most of them aren't.
I'm not good. I'm not a good person to talk to.
Right.
So.
All right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Take a time out. Back with Catholic Central head coach Eric Meek coming up after these words.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigans is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigans on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too. Only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigans even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigans.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T wireless network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Thanks a lot for following us at Ohio Valley Sports Online. Why not visit our webpage at OhioValleySportsOnline.com. It's the way to go for sports fans around the globe to follow your favorite local sports teams. A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigans is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigans on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too. Only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigans even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigans.
Tell her Mr. Balzano was buying me one of my teas.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bennigan's Restaurant in Steubenville with Ohio Valley Sports Online. Jim Huggins along with Jason Jenkins, Dan Vogel. And we're joined now by Steubenville Catholic Central head coach Eric Meek, who gets here just in time as I get my exotic drink.
Looks good.
From John Balzano. How about that, huh?
Mr. Balzano. Yeah, he's a great guy. Just talking to him.
He's been a friend of ours.
That's my man, Mr. Balzano.
Yep.
Been a friend of our family forever. Just lives like one street down from me, I think.
Right.
We play a game card game every year called Ramola, Greek rum, and there's 52 cards in a deck, and then there's 2 jokers. Well, we always play with the jokers, and that's wild. So whatever you get, he hates it because I'd always get jokers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we're not playing without the. I go, listen, they're in the deck, aren't they? When you buy a deck of cards, it comes with 2 jokers in it.
Right.
So we're using them. They're part of the deck. He's like, you hit those every time. It's just that's just the way it looks. It doesn't happen that way. Anyways, Coach, a tough one on Connaught Valley on this past Saturday, and they got out to the lead, and they had some pretty good size and stuff, but again, turnovers seem to see a big play.
I kind of think it was a combination of a few things. I think the kids played hard. In fact, that's the first thing Ed Lumen said to me when he was interviewing me from the Herald Star after the game. But there was a couple things. First off, our defense started out just tremendous. Several 3-and-outs. And it looked like when we got up 7-0, and we just kept 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Things were going great. Then they hit a big play on us right before the half, went up 8-7. So I think that, they were a very well-coached team, Coach Hertler. But I think the difference, honestly, I wasn't happy about this. I think, as you mentioned, the turnovers. The same thing, we had the problem against Madonna.
Yeah.
We lose 4-0. And the other thing is, I really think, and I got a little bit concerned about this in pregame. I didn't say this to the kids. I mentioned to a couple of my coaches pregame. I was over talking to Coach Hertler, and I looked over, and I could just tell they started about 6 seniors on each side, and we're starting a few. And I remember saying to my coaches, their kids look like have had an established weightlifting program.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the combination of the turnover margin and that did not go in our favor, and I think that they had older kids who were physically stronger than ours. I think it kind of took a toll in the fourth quarter, especially.
Yeah, it didn't seem like anybody was going to score for a while, and you mentioned back and forth, 3s and outs and everything.
Right.
Like it's like 2 heavyweight punchers going at each other until you finally find some kind of weakness to take advantage of. But when you guys got out to that lead and then they took the lead, it's a close ball game until the last maybe a couple of series and stuff.
Right.
But they had a couple of nice playmakers that pulled it away for them.
It was very. It kind of reminded you a little bit of the Madonna game, only we moved the ball better against Madonna. We did not move the ball real well Saturday night, and I'm not happy about that. But
I think, Coach, and just tell me if I'm wrong. Like you said, that the turnovers, to me, the youth led to. You guys had plenty of, I forget what down, 3rd or 4th down when they got the big play. So you were established first and second. But then, bam, they hit the one big play.
Well, we've said the big play has hurt us all year, and it's a shame because – and then I think it was a combination of that. Then they started kind of pushing us around a little bit late in the game, and it wasn't honestly, I don't think it's because the kids quit. I just feel that there was a physical strength.
Yeah, they wore you down a little.
I'm going to start 10 underclassmen on one side of the ball and 8 on the other, and we're just our overall team strength right now isn't where we need it to be.
Yeah.
For a couple, we got to get another good winter and spring and summer of our weightlifting program, and as the kids get older and mature. But I could tell, some of their kids looked. You could tell Coach Hertler has a really good weightlifting program. I could just tell pregame.
Right.
And they're the type of team, they're a power team. They're more the old school stuff. He doesn't try to. He said to me even pregame, he said, I just don't have the athletes to line up and spread people out. But they do a really good job at what they do offensively. And we held them. Excuse me, I didn't mean. We held them to less points than a lot of their opponents.
That's
have.
what
they've been averaging 39, 40 points a game.
Right.
That's what Jags and I were saying. We kept waiting for that high power. Where's this high? But you shut them down because we mentioned that before.
The first half, our defense just, it was just fantastic.
Yes.
And not only that, but the defense gave our offense the ball several times in that first half at the other team's 40-yard line. And and we could only get 7 points out of that. That is not good. We've scored 99 points in 9 games, and that's something I'm not happy about. But it is a process, and we just need to continue to keep working, and we'll see what happens moving forward here.
They had a long bus ride in and going back home too, but I was curious as how that was going to affect them early, because I went out to the Amish country yesterday and we had to go out there past Sherardsville and come in behind New Philly, but we had to go past Connaught Valley out there, and then through all the winding roads, and I'm like, man, how can you sit on a bus for however long it took on that detour and not have that affect you? But it didn't seem like it had very much effect at all on them, and they just came out like they just came from down the street, and I think that maybe they're used to that kind of stuff or what, but they weren't intimidated by any part of the day itself as far as the drive and the game itself. They came ready to play.
Oh yes, definitely, and I think it'll be interesting this week. Friday night they play Madonna. I think that'll be a very interesting matchup.
Yes.
Two kind of totally different teams.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And I always, we talked about the negatives. We said the turnovers and big play, but I always, I like to hear about the positive. I'm still very impressed with the development and growth of your defensive line. I mean, I don't know, I'm saying all night, Rouse, Graham, Rouse, Graham, Malachi, Manley. That's one of the positives. And then also just B.J. Fowler, once again, stepping up. But give me some of the positive notes you take away from that.
Well, like you said, I think our run defense has been good. Certainly, it's continued to improve. I don't see a lot of positives from Saturday night offensively. We had the one drive there, but we were given the ball in golden opportunities time and time again and couldn't put the points there. I think our special teams played well, except for the one muffed, the punt return.
Right.
Daniel Bolster, our punter, I checked it today, is averaging 40.5 yards a punt.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And, very, very good. And the coverage team has been good. I just think that, and the positives are, again, as I've been saying from day one, when I walk in, I leave school where I work at 2:45. I walk into the locker room at 3 o'clock, and they're all waiting because they're not allowed. We got that long walk down. So we walk down about 3:15 together. And, just walk in every day, and they're all waiting there. They all go, Coach, how you doing? How was school? And, and they're just a great group to be around. And, in fact, last night we took our seniors out to dinner, and, we're going to do something neat with them Friday night, the entire team. So, just the positives are, we're and this isn't saying there wasn't a culture before I arrived. That's not at all what I'm saying. We're building our own culture, and it is fun, and it is, everybody's on board, and I would say that's our main positive, that it's going to be a fun process moving forward from here.
I had a teacher tell me one time, if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, you're not doing what you want to do, right. what you should be doing. So if they're enjoying it, regardless of results, they're enjoying themselves. They might not get the results you want, but a lot of times you do, but they're enjoying themselves. That's half the battle anymore for kids, because kids have so many options now to do so many different things to get them to commit to one thing or one sport or, one position or whatever. It's hard to do with today's kids compared to back when we were in school,
Right, yeah. So, they a great group to be around, and like I said, everything I've asked them to do from day one, they've done, and it took them a while to get to know me and my personality and sometimes my sense of humor, but they're starting to understand now that we're all in it together and we're in it for the long haul.
And one thing I can say, we talked about this before, that you can see there is definitely no lack of effort from your team, and that's all you can ask for.
Sure, I think that's always a very important part of any team, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, I was telling my girl, if we get beat 50-0, and you played as hard as you could, and we just couldn't do. I'm not mad at you. I'm happy because you competed as hard as you can, and you can definitely see that your kids.
Well, there's some things I was not happy about.
Oh yeah,
Saturday,
you're definitely good.
But
it wasn't for lack of effort.
Yeah, it just.
You can tell they enjoy playing for you because even when things are not going well, they're not hanging their heads. When they come off of that field, they're getting encouragement from you and your other coaches and other, players on the team and stuff. And there's nobody sitting there going, woe is me, we're getting beat.
Well, they know they need to run on and off the field no matter what the score is. And when I can't get them to do those things, then it's time to bring somebody else in.
Right, amen. I agree with you.
Right.
Tell you what, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get started talking about the Toronto Red Knights, your long-time rivalry for Catholic Central, last game of the season, playoff implications, all that fun stuff that comes with it. So let's take a break. You're listening to Coach Eric Meek's show, brought to you by Bennigans. We'll be back after these words.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigans is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigans on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too, only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigans even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigans.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley Sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
And we're back here at Bennigans, Catholic Central Coaches Show, sponsored by Bennigans with Coach Eric Meek and Coach 10th week. We talked to Coach Frankie, talked to Coach U. Not only is it the big 5 mile, you're 5 miles apart, Toronto, Steubenville Central, the kids know everybody. There's also a lot of playoff implications and movement on the line here. This is a big game, Coach.
Right, and someone mentioned, you guys kept asking me about playoffs, and I said, I'm not talking about, we don't even have hardly any wins. But someone did mention, or we saw that I think our game in our region is the only Saturday game.
Oh, really?
So, everybody's going to kind of, all the dominoes have fell except for our game on Saturday. So, but it's it's exciting, and for us, it's continuing to be trying to really focus on ourselves and getting better this week. Our seniors, we're really just trying to do a great job with our seniors, and hopefully we can extend our season. It goes beyond Saturday, because if not, then we're going to have to collect the uniforms.
That's one thing you don't want to do. You want to keep playing. All you want is a shot, and you're going to get that shot. And if it works out, you get to play another game, and that's what you want to play. You just want to play one more game, one more time, And you can't look forward down the road. You can't, see who. Well, if we win this game and this game, we got this team. You can only focus on who's in front of you. Toronto and Central had a good game. We were talking with Coach Frankie a little bit ago, a couple of years ago, when Central had to score to make the playoffs. And they drove all the way down to like the 3-yard line. And then Toronto intercepted them at the goal line and went back the other way, but Central tackled them, but that was the end of the game. And that was like one of the best finishes with playoff applications I think that I've done games on the radio forever. And you like to see that, where both teams leaving it all on the field. The unfortunate thing is somebody wins, somebody loses, And it was a great game to watch, and I'm hoping we get a good game to watch on Saturday. What do you think for them offensively is that they're going to be their plan of attack for you?
Well, their speed is just the best we've seen, at their skill positions. I mean, it's their speed is very, very going to be very difficult to defend. I kind of made the joke, was it Sunday night or Monday? I can't remember. I like to drink a lot of coffee, and during football, especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when we're still preparing, I tend to drink a lot more than I probably should. My doctor would want, but if you would have gave me some Mountain Dew, I think I would have poured it into my, because not only the talent, but I got to be prepared for everything. I've seen fake punts. I've seen onside kicks. I've seen reverses on kickoffs. I've seen trick plays on offense. We even saw a play where they call a guy over and he stands right by the end of the sideline, and like he's talking to a coach, and if you don't cover him, he's going to turn and run up the sideline, and they're going to throw him a fade untouched. So there's a lot of things that we need that we really have had to go over, and we still got 2 days to do it, and then a walk through Saturday morning after our brunch. But
you got any trick plays ready to go?
Oh, you know me, I got trick plays all the all the time.
That play you're talking about with the receiver by the sideline, I know a couple of years ago there had been talk about saying that your wide receivers had to be within so many yards of your tight end. They couldn't come all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
If you were on that far hash mark, they couldn't be against your sideline.
Right.
Because it was deception, it was unsportsmanlike, or whatever they wanted to call it.
Well, I think as long as you're in, there's some schools, though, there's some states I do know that it is illegal. But it's funny you said that, because I don't want to be hypocritical, because when I was a coach at Weir High in 2008, we ran the spread, but we ran the ball, and we were pretty good that year. We had an unbelievable rushing attack out of the spread, and we came inside, and I remember Mark Batten, the old Magnolia coach, said to me, because he thought he was going to play us twice again in the playoffs. He said he never saw a team spread the field like we did, because I'd have them guys when they break. It was a no huddle, but they had to go in. I had them go and line up right to the edge.
Right.
Nothing deception, but just we tried to spread
them out,
because we were a running team. We weren't much of a passing team, and we ran the ball a lot. But yeah, it's just. But the whole point of me saying that is, besides their tremendous skill, there's a lot to prepare for, and any coach will tell you that you never feel like you prepared enough.
Right.
Did I say that to that kid enough? I found myself the last few days, hey, remember what I said? Remember what I said to you guys Monday? Yeah. Sending them stuff on GroupMe and all that stuff. Hey, remember this, remember that. So there's a lot that we need to be prepared for, and we certainly will do our best to do that.
There's no matter how much though you prepare, there can always be a wrench in the in the engine where something happens, a block punt, a fumble, any of that kind of stuff happens. It turns the course of a game around, and you can only control what you can control. But I guess minimizing any kind of mistakes is going to really help you out against Toronto. not giving them the ball time and time again, the way you talk about their speed.
Oh yeah, we got to be able to move the ball and keep their offense off the field. That's a definite. And their defense is good as well.
Are you going to slow it down then?
Well, it would be nice to, but we our running game started to pick up, and then, again last week I just wasn't real happy. I guess I was hoping that we could come out and just continue. Like Bridgeport wasn't that big of a deal because we got real conservative for a reason when it became a 9-point game.
Right, you wanna
and
run
our
it,
defense was playing so well. I was like, why? As long as our defense keeps playing the way we can run the ball, it was fine. But we're going to have to move the ball. We're going to have to score if we get down in the red zone. That has been an issue. And we got to be physical, and I think that if we can do those things and make some plays through the air, then we can try to keep them on their toes as long as we possibly can.
What do you plan on doing? We saw last week that Iolente, took over quarterback stuff, and then you end up having Dorsey come in for a while. What's your plan this week? Is it,
well, again, and I mentioned this on the air, and everyone in my program knows this. I mentioned it in the newspaper. Andrew Dorsey has never been benched. It's been a health issue, and Tyler Iolente stepped in and did a great job. And the great thing about those two young men is they're two really outstanding kids that'll do whatever you ask them to do, and they can both play multiple positions. When I say that, they can play quarterback, they can play receiver, they can play tight end, and they can run the football. And they kind of know what my plan is going into this week. But we're planning on having them both on the field at the same time. And I think that there's a possibility that you may be able to – you may see both of them back there at times at quarterback.
I got a question for you, Coach. What's it like – and I'm sure they give you a little bit of jostling because you teach at Toronto, correct? Right. So they give you any jostling this week, or is it mum's a word, or
who's they?
The kids.
I teach 7th and 8th grade. All of the kids on the Toronto football team I have a personal relationship with, except for the transfer kids. I never, because I teach 7th and 8th grade now, and I've coached many of the younger kids in middle school track. So there's a personal relationship there. I see him in the hall. It's a great relationship.
Right.
My students that I have in 7th and 8th grade, I guess you'd have to sit in my class for about 3 months to understand how my classes are. It would probably kind of surprise. I mean, I have a really good relationship with these kids, and I know they're all going to be wearing red and white on Saturday night at Harding Stadium, but there's no issues at all. I mean, it's
like a playful.
Absolutely, and there's absolutely no stress on my shoulders to walk through that hallway. I was fortunate to be the head football coach there for 10 years. We had a lot of success. I thought we did a great job, and there came a point when it was time for me to say it's time to move on. And I'm very appreciative of the 10 years that I served there as head football coach, as well as Wellsville and Weir High and the places that I have been an assistant at both the high school.
Well, you could tell them if Central loses this game on Saturday, then you're going to have pop quizzes on Monday morning.
So it's fine, and I've said since March when I took the job here at Catholic Central that. I embrace it. I look at it that I got 132 students, 7th and 8th graders at Toronto Middle School throughout from 7:15 to 2:45. And I get in the car and I go 15 minutes into Steubenville and I get to work with these kids and my own children. My son's getting ready to leave for the Navy and he's been helping us with equipment. And so I get to spend some time with him. And, my daughter's going to Museo now, and so I feel very blessed, and at the end of the day, it is a game, and we put a lot of time and energy into every game and every season and our program. But, I feel like I'm a very blessed person.
Yes. Hey, Jack, before we get off, I wanted to give a shout-out, Dan. Congratulations to our man, Zach Caloris, a 3-year contract extension. It doesn't happen in the CFL with the quarterbacks, but it did. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Congratulations,
Through
Zach.
2025.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate the time as always. Throughout the whole year, we've appreciated you coming by and chatting with us, taking time out of your busy schedule and everything, and look forward to an exciting game on Saturday. We'll have Raymond down on the sidelines, so he might be bothering you a little bit before the game, So if you don't want him, just shoo him away.
Oh, no. Raymond and I go back when I was the head coach of the Steubenville Stampede.
Wow.
We sat over there at
I remember that. I did the PA announcing.
Over at the old St. John Arena, and wow, that was like, I felt that. People asked me what that was like. I said that year was like the closest thing to the professional wrestling that I have ever been involved with.
They never knew if they had enough money to pay everybody at the end of the night. Everybody was
I'll tell you
standing
what,
around
when I got my checks every week, I made sure I cashed those checks first thing in the morning.
Immediately. They didn't bounce to it.
Right.
Hey, we got to give a shout-out to our man, Mr. Balzano, once again. Good seeing you, sir.
Took care of me. It's like my first mixed drink I've had since I was in Myrtle Beach.
Me too. Big Catholic Central supporter there.
He's a good man.
Yes, he is.
I won't be around next weekend. I'll be on vacation again, but
have a good time.
We're looking forward to hopefully get a chance to talk to you again before it all ends.
All right. We're here next week?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
That'll wrap it up here from Bennigans. We'll see you on Friday night as Steubenville Big Red plays, and Saturday night Central and Toronto. So have yourselves a good week. We'll see you this weekend.